What's going on, guys? It's the Geek Down here, and today I want to talk about the Spurs as today is the NBA tip-off. Tomorrow they play the Mavericks, and I just wanted to get my thoughts and opinions, final thoughts on what I think that the Spurs are going to look like this season, what their record may be, what's in store. So let's get right into it. Starting off, this offseason has probably been one of the most hype in the sense of people being real invested in the Spurs. You got a lot of, in my opinion, dumb trade talks, whether it comes to Giannis on the team. Jaylen Brown was in mentions. They were even thinking about getting KD. So there was a lot of controversy in the sense of what the Spurs should do moving forward once they got Dylan Harper in the draft after having a very small chance of getting him to begin with. But the Spurs, in my opinion, did the right thing. I think that they kept it in the Spurs way also. They didn't buy into the fan hype. I feel like a lot of teams really do fold under that, where they keep hearing about pressure to do something, and they just kind of go for it. But the Spurs are a little more tempered than that. And in my opinion, I think it was the right move. I think we should find out what we have in De'Aaron Fox, Castle, and Dylan Harper. And in my opinion, I think hopefully Mitch Johnson is a very experimental guy in the sense of how he runs lineups. I want to see some lineups, some nights where we have Sohan and Carter Bryant starting at the same time, just see what that looks like. I want to see Dylan Harper, Castle, and Fox starting at the same time, given that Fox is 6'3", Castle 6'5", and Harper 6'6". I want to see what you can run with that. Having Wemby kind of makes it a lot easier when it comes to that because it's not such a small lineup when you have a 7'7" guy. I want to see some Luke Cornett and Wemby lineups. And I'm not talking about starting lineups either. I'm just talking about 5 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 8 minutes here. Because I want to see what three ball handler playmakers look like next to Wemby. If you saw any of the preseason games, this offense looks completely different. They look so much better. I think them not trading away Keldon and Vassell, which I don't know how that's going to work out because they're giving a lot of money to two bench guys. Maybe Vassell starts, but I think in the future it should be Carter Bryant just for the defensive versatility. But I think that they have a really deep bench this year. Their starting lineup is a little weird because I don't know who you start at that 4. Of course, you got Sohan, but I think they might want to move away from that kind of project. So I wonder if Kelly Olynyk gets to start, if it's Harrison Barnes and Julian Champagnie, or if it's Devin Vassell and Harrison Barnes. We're going to have to see. But there is a lot of options that go here. This team is not something you can't be a Tom Thibodeau to this team. You can't just run the same lineups, give everyone the same minutes every game and expect this team to grow. This team has a lot of young players, has a lot of faces, has a lot of potential and capability to score. And we saw that in the preseason game. They won all their preseason games. That's the first time they've ever done that. So it's not the biggest thing, but I think it does matter. It shows that this team cares and shows how much potential this team can have. But like I was saying, there are so many scorers, and on top of that, they are really moving the ball very fluently. When I was watching the game against the Pacers, the last one, every fast break they were just throwing it to Champagnie in the corner, or they were just all moving the ball. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Wemby's numbers don't jump super high, but his passing does, because he knows that everyone's going to be open because of him. If you watch with him and Luke Cornett, what I'm so excited about is they just have a really good chemistry. There's a lot of times Wemby gets the ball and he gets double-teamed in the post and he immediately finds Luke Cornett right under the rim. Or there's times where Devin Vassell's in the corner, Keldon Johnson's at the top of the key. Like, everyone is waiting for the ball, and it's very Spurs basketball. It's very non-selfish. So I'm real excited to see how that plays out in the season. What concerns me is Dylan Harper is going to get the start because Fox is going to be out a game or two or maybe a couple. And what concerns me about that is I think the casual Spurs fans are going to immediately be like, no, Dylan Harper's the future. He's the guy we need right now. And I'm not doubting that he can be the guy. But I think there's no need to rush something if it works. If De'Aaron Fox and Castle can play together starting, and if Dylan Harper can be a really good six-man to start off his career, I'm not comparing him to a James Harden career, but he does play similar in the sense of just his pace, his shooting, at least like the difficulty of some of his shots, and his finishing is really, really good. It reminds me of OKC James Harden. Not as good of a shooter, but he does remind me of that. And I'm not saying that's what he's going to be next, but, I was being serious when I said Castle also reminded me of a very young, raw Kobe, just with his finishing too. They're really good finishers. And something I'm excited to see out of Castle is he is really getting to the free throw line a lot more. And, well, he already got there last year, but you can see he doesn't avoid contact. So that's good too. Back to what I was saying about Fox and Dylan Harper, I think we got to see it play out. Like I said, I think there are some moments where we can start all three of them if they're decent enough shooters. Maybe not, of course, not a playoff game, but let's say they're up big against the Washington team, game 52 or whatever, and they want to, spice things up. I think you should start all three of them with Wemby. I also wonder when Carter Bryant gets his start, because he is very raw. He's not a great scorer at the moment, but yes, his defense is a highlight reel. So I wonder how many minutes he gets. I wonder what happens with Sohan. I wonder if you can play both of them together, given the shooting capabilities of both of them, how they need to work on that. But I think as a defensive backcourt with Wemby, I think that'll be crazy. Going into the Mavs game tomorrow, I wonder what lineup they start with, because this Mavericks team is probably going to be D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Likely. And the Spurs added a bunch of size to the team. They got Kelly Olynyk. Carter Bryant's not a giant guy, but they got him. Luke Cornett. They added size. I don't see Bismack Biyombo getting any minutes this game. Maybe he does. We'll see. Depending, hopefully not if Wemby gets in foul trouble. But I wonder what the starting lineup is, because I don't think you can start Devin Vassell on this team on this certain night because of the size and the physicality. You're going to have to run Wemby at center. He's going to be guarding Lively or Davis, whoever. But then who's going to be guarding the other? Who's going to be guarding, like I said, whether it's Davis or Lively? It can't be Harrison Barnes. I don't think you can run that. I think it'll be a bad mismatch. I'm wondering if they just throw out the Luke Cornett starting lineup right now, because they really did look good. Maybe he's too slow, but this team isn't super scary. Of course, it's without Luka. It's Cooper Flagg. It's his first game. They're gonna need someone who's gonna have to guard him too. Klay Thompson's a bigger guy, but I think Castle can hold it down. So I'm just wondering how they deal with the size. I think that they should go with Luke Cornett, and if Sohan is healthy, throw him in, or just get Keldon Johnson for the size against Cooper Flagg. But I don't know if they're going to be constantly switching out the lineups every game, but that's kind of where this team's at right now. There's different players with different specialties. Harrison Barnes is a pretty good scorer at this stage. He's still a good defender, but he is past his prime. I don't know if you want to run him going against some of these bigger guys, or going against like a KD or whatever the case is. Who guards KD in these situations? Who guards Jalen Williams in these situations? Is it going to be Castle? Well, if it's going to be Castle, then who's guarding SGA? So that's kind of what this team is dealing with. They need to find their cohesive starting lineup. And like I said, maybe down in February or maybe January, however soon it may be, I think Carter Bryant should be really pushing for Carter Bryant to be that power forward, small forward, because you can throw out Keldon Johnson, but I think he can get exposed in certain areas of the game. You can throw out Devin Vassell, but I think he's a little too small. You're scared about running Dylan Harper, Castle, and Fox, but then you want to start Devin Vassell. it's kind of similar to that. But at least, when you have Dylan Harper out there, you want to see what you don't have. I think that Luke Cornett should definitely be a starter with Wemby. It looked amazing, like I said. Maybe Kelly Olynyk gets to start. Maybe Sohan gets back out there. Who knows? But I'm really excited for this team. I think that they can make the playoffs. I can definitely see them being a top 6 seed, depending if everything goes right for them. That's a given for every team. The Clippers look scary. The Timberwolves are always going to be there. The Nuggets look scary again. Of course, the Thunder are always going to be there. But when it comes to the Lakers, with LeBron being out, who knows how Luka looks with this team by himself. I mean, it's just kind of a downgrade, in my opinion, from the team he had. You have the Trailblazers, who look like they're really trying to make some noise this year with Hansen. I'm saying that right. It's going to be a deep conference, and I just hope that the Spurs can really figure it out. I think they can, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I think that they can beat the Mavericks. This team is still very unorganized and very inexperienced in the sense of working together. And so are the Spurs, but they just really added a couple of pieces. The rest of the team is still the same. This Mavericks team, you have D'Angelo Russell, you have Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis didn't really play that much minutes, so we're going to see. But I'm real excited for this team. I really want to see what they can do. If Wemby gets in the playoffs, I think that's like, once he gets there, anything could happen. You know what I mean? He can go nuclear. I mean, it's very hard to guard a 7'7" monster that can do everything. So let's just see if they can get there. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully Mitch Johnson knows what he's doing. I'm real excited to see. He's been coaching pretty well in the preseason, so there's only one way to find out, and that's tomorrow night. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace.